Today we find ourselves in an alternate universe, where X-Men cease to be and mutants face an unyielding threat of extinction. The surviving mutants have forged a desperate alliance for their last stand, but they are not alone in their struggle, as those who wish to wipe out Mutankind have sinister plans of their own. For the security of many, the few must sometimes suffer control. I've understood that since the beginning, since the intermarriage laws passed and mutants marched outside Congress, since one riot cop raised his baton and hundreds died in unearthly retaliation, since every attempt to purify or pacify the mutants was met with disproportionate defense. Since I can remember, I've been fighting the mutants alone. That all ends here in Arizona. Stay down! Subject was reaching for a firearm. Colleague. Saved your ass, Spangles. Ha 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 ha. In this universe, the Avengers you and I know are not the same to say the least. Iron Man is rotting away in his armor after some sort of tech virus got to him. While it's a puzzle figuring out how much of Tony Stark is still human in there, there's some lingering essence of him that surprisingly remains human. Something which we cannot say for Bruce Banner, who is a whole different story with his military involvement and terrifying hate towards the mutants.
Stinking, pestilent vermin.
Redback's a simpler case, as she is just known as the country's top killer for the past 8 years. These people need to be controlled. Redback, for their safety as much as the world's, not murdered, while Sue might be trouble on her own. For her, it's a simple matter of duty, nothing more. You need to manage your team, Captain. While the Avengers have been fighting the war against mutant for years, they have never worked together as a team. Getting accustomed to one another has proven to be quite a challenging task for them. Please, mutants, return to your cells. As Sue pleads with the mutants to return to their cells, one of them decides to strike her.
Screw you, fascist! I'll handle this. Gaze into the face of vengeance, sinner.
As Ghost Rider tries to punish the mutant, he ends up exerting too much of his powers, prompting the Avengers to flee the scene. Now assembled in General Castle's office, which is more decorated than a Christmas tree, intense like a caffeine cluster bomb, the Avengers are asked to explain why they failed to execute their mission. Teething problems, sir. Logistical function error. We suck.
Unreliable personnel.
Breakdown in cooperation. In hopes of explaining the importance of teamwork, Sue tries to tell General Castle that teamwork has to be key. When I was with the Four, we made it a priority to... But before she can finish her sentence, Bruce Banner harshly cuts her off.
That's your shining example. A dysfunctional dynasty of confirmed traitors.
Don't you call them that. Analyzing the back and forth between Sue and Banner, Captain America thinks to himself that while no one wants to say it, but the Fantastic Fours have been branded as traitors on air. After all, they were caught harboring mutants who unfortunately ended up losing control. Sue, having no other choice, had to give up her family. While her husband didn't agree, it was clear to everyone then that mutants, all too often, can't even control themselves. Remembering the painful past, Sue warns Banner to never again mention them. It's okay, Sue, and she's right, sir. We failed to operate as a unit. We'll try harder. General Castle cuts Captain America off and sternly states that they will have to get their act together as Magneto forcefully levitated 22 buildings from New York City to build a fortress. It goes without saying such a demonstration of power represents an escalation in the mutant crisis. It also goes without saying it can't be left unanswered. General Castle further briefs the Avengers on the subject. As of nightfall, satellite trackers lost the stolen architecture. Intelligence posits the mutants may form a defensible sanctuary around it. Your mission is very simple. Stop them. As for the building's location, we have some specialist equipment to aid you in your search.
It's repugnant. It's intolerable. It's
turning south. Sue, turns out the top secret gear lurking in General Castle's mind wasn't some high-tech gadget. It was none other than Sabretooth, a tormented mutant pushed into becoming a tracker.
Degrading enough. We must concern ourselves with mutants at all, but to employ them.
As Banner expresses his hatred for the mutant, Captain America reminds him, "It volunteered. Banner, we should be grateful." Agreeing with Captain America, Sue sympathizes with the tortured mutant and says, "And who knows what the poor man's endured in captivity." As you would have guessed it, Sue's empathetic sentence doesn't sit well with the Hulk, who callously throws another jab at Sue.
So you take pity on the scum that betrays its kind. How apt from a woman who sold her family.
Having had enough of Banner's taunts, Sue rushes to hurl an attack on him when Captain America decides to intervene. "You're out of line, Doc. Weapon S, there was given a choice. He chose to do the right thing. Tough as it is, so did Sue. Your hate's got no place here." After a second of pause, Bruce Banner counters back.
"A choice? Let me tell you about mutants and choices, Captain."
Recalling his past, Banner reveals how years ago, he made the choice to devote himself to science in service to his country. Upon constructing a device for carrying out the sterilization of dangerous mutants, one of the mutants freaked out, causing the device to misfire in the gamma spectrum. This incident changed him forever. Remembering the pain of the experience, Bruce Banner states that for 3 minutes, he was blinded by pain and was just like these mutants.
Beyond control.
And so it happens. The Hulk's resentment for mutants is quite personal, since it was because of this incident. He slaughtered his best friend, his colleagues, commanders, and his fiancée. Everyone he held dear was gone within the span of 3 minutes. That's awful. But you can't blame that child for panic. As Sue empathetically tries to sway Bruce Banner's stance on hating the mutants, the man cuts her off and states,
"Oh, that's not the awful part, Storm. You see, the blast shredded those volunteers, scattered their flesh and bone, drove their atoms beneath my skin like shrapnel."
While continuing the story, Banner finds himself getting agitated by the minute. He grabs Sue and tells her firmly,
"Listen to me. There's something in these mutants. Something coiled like a worm in their genes, which mere science cannot unravel. Its name is evil, Sue Storm, and it infects our world like a disease, and I will never be clean again."
Tactful interruption protocol. Cutting through the suffocating atmosphere, Iron Man tries to divert everyone's attention. Hey, tense people, eyes front. Turns out, Sabretooth had finally sniffed out Fortress X. You would think that after being turned into a Fido for the Avengers, Sabretooth would finally be rewarded for his work, but no. Fate had other plans in store for this chum as Iron Man receives orders from General to inform everyone about Code Omega. Baffled by the meaning of Code Omega, Iron Man turns to Captain America for answers, only to find the usually vibrant hero pale and drained of color. Omega. As Captain America struggles to answer Iron Man's question, Hulk laughs maniacally.
Means they say kill mutants.
I free, yes? Wait a minute, I didn't agree to… Which mutants? Unable to control his bloodthirst any longer, Bruce Banner yanks Sabretooth's chain and crushes his head between his gigantic hands. Guess Sabretooth finally found his freedom, huh? After maniacally killing the mutant, Hulk finally answers Sue's question.
All of them.
Meanwhile, within the bustling metropolis of New York City, the iconic web-slinger, none other than Spider-Man himself, finds himself in hot waters with the government and the frantic pursuit by relentless bioscanners thirsting for Spider-Man's demise. Our friendly neighborhood hero comes to a stark realization. The world he inhabits is undeniably and royally messed up. Amidst the high-speed chase, a soldier hurls the derogatory term post-muty at Spider-Man, a label coined by the government for individuals like him with irradiated blood or altered DNA, which grants them superhuman strength. I liked it better when I was just a plain old menace. Things have been wrong for some time now. The human coalition is out of control. Sanity had long left it shut when they discovered Nick Fury's band of secret warriors. Majority of these warriors lacked the elusive X gene, but somehow they had powers. However, given their lineage with superpowered heroes and villains, the so-called humans jumped to the conclusion that these abilities must be inherited. This revelation triggered a sweeping panic in the HC, as now the concern extended beyond eliminating existing mutants to fretting over potential future ones, which cast a new shadow over their already troubled world. Having vanquished his enemies, Spider-Man makes his way to a heavily pregnant Mary Jane. Ready to go? Almost. Still have to pack your things. Don't. I looked. And there are bioscanners everywhere, and somehow those tin cans have new sensors that picked up any changes in DNA, mutant or not. As Peter Parker tells MJ that he cannot come along with her, Mary Jane pecks his cheek affectionately and tells Spidey that she'll start unpacking her items as well, but Peter insists that she must get out. The HC is out for blood, hunting down everyone who is a danger to them. Me, you, and her baby. We have to think about her future. But Mary Jane, steadfast and resolute, refuses to abandon the man she loves in the face of danger, insisting that they can confront this challenge together. However, plagued by the concern for her safety and the well-being of their unborn child, Spider-Man firmly explains that this is a battle they can't wage side by side, as his marked status puts them both at risk. Expressing deep anguish over the situation, Peter urges Mary Jane to leave him behind for her own safety. However, before leaving, MJ firmly asserts that, for better or worse, she's in this together with him. After eloping for a final time, Peter Parker lovingly caresses MJ's cheek. When she's born, when she grows up, make sure she always knows how much. She knows. We both do. Thank you. Now go, where we first kissed. Everything you need is there. With that bittersweet farewell, Spider-Man tells Mary Jane to run as he faces the HC and their helicopters. You want me? You've got me. As the confrontation unfolds, Spider-Man, no longer the friendly neighborhood superhero, takes down every single helicopter that posed a threat to him. Simultaneously, MJ boards a plane to Paris. Remembering her first kiss with Peter Parker, MJ smiles. See you soon, Tiger. Amidst a scene reminiscent of a battlefield, Spider-Man wears a satisfied smile as he finds himself captured by the soldiers. who purposely mock him in their apparent triumph. "Careful with that thing. We got him. What's he gonna do now? Shoot webs out of his ass? Nice job, fellas. This one never stood a chance." But Purin pays no mind to the insults hurled at him, finding solace in his heart, knowing that MJ and their unborn child are safe. As Captain America infiltrates Fortress X with the license to kill, the question looms, will the Supes ditch their moral code and dive into the villain pool, or take the traitor tag to keep their hands clean? For the record, I've never hated mutants. For all their protests, all their rage and violence, I've never thought them evil. No, what it comes down to is, they just can't see the situation like we do. We real humans. They can't understand it's not about injustice, or prejudice, or cruelty. It's darker than that. They're simply too powerful, too unpredictable, to be left to their own devices. So it's up to my team to make them understand. As the Avengers press deeper into Magneto's lair, Cap reflects on the twisted evolution of their mission. What once revolved around arrest and detainment has now morphed into an order to end the lives of every mutant to have tread upon the Earth's surface.
Avengers, this is Banner. Telemetry suggests a blast shielded chamber on the next level. It must be Magneto. It'll be sentries. Kill them all.
Tony, remind the doctor I left him at camp on the General's request. Probably because he's an insane goop-bound liability, and not for his strategic insight. I'll lead my team how I see fit. So you don't intend to commit murder? Magneto's a terrorist. So, a military target. Cut off the head? The body dies. It's not murder. It's orders. However, knowing Sue's stance on murdering innocent mutants, Captain America assures her, I have no desire to kill anyone unless I have to. Yet, in the midst of the battle, Captain America can't help but admit the seduction of pure violence. Until all the soft options are gone, and the blood's roaring like life itself, and the rebel's too dense behind us, and the only way is forward, and I find that I'm ready, and I enjoy it. Forsaking his morality, Captain America coldly directs a barrage of bullets towards a mutant before him. In a sudden moment of realization, Steve Rogers comprehends the self-betrayal to his principles. As Sue rushes towards the gun, desperate to intervene, he halts, but the irreversible damage has already been done. She was guarding them! Look at them, Steve! Look at the fear! Look at the care! These aren't military targets! But we're soldiers. It's just orders. On the brink of death, the female mutant desperately tries to reason with Cap. Her plea transcends personal survival, urging him to reconsider not for her sake, but for the innocent and pure little girls who could still be spared from death's cold embrace. She's human. She's only 11. She writes stories. Stories so powerful they sear the soul. Stories to uplift or devastate. Stories of such beauty. Her school teachers know they'll change the world. What if that little girl's being brought up as a communist captain, or an anarchist, or a fundamentalist? Will you kill her too? And what about the scientists with contrary views on drug control, or the pink vote politician, or any opinionated folks with an IQ over 150, and muscles bigger than yours? Or anyone special and unpredictable and unique who you can't control? Where does it end, Captain America? With her final breath, the woman leaves behind a haunting silence and a number of unanswered questions that now linger in the air for Captain America and his team of so-called superheroes to grapple with. The weight of the mission finally dawns on Captain America, prompting him to instruct Iron Man to open a line to General Castle. At a decisive moment, he declares that they are quitting this villainous mission. Oh crap! Negative! Override! Tony! The machine can't stop! Extant objective! Code Omega! How do I help? Not me. Help them. After neutralizing Iron Man, Captain America contacts General Castle, who cuts him off before he could convey his message to him. Before you say anything, and no doubt you got a principal little resignation speech all lined up, there's something you need to understand. You're gonna die. You hear me, turncoat? You haven't saved shit. You're gonna die. And with you, every last America-hating, filth-spreading, family-murdering mutant there is. As General Castle wickedly reveals the plan to destroy a true patriot to launch a chemical bomb at Fortress X, Captain America confronts him, questioning who'll be foolish enough to sacrifice themselves for his sinister agenda. Take a look outside, Rogers.
No more mutants!
As Hulk races towards the fortress packing a bomb, Captain America pleads with the mutants to band together and stay sharp. In the midst of the confrontation between Hulk and Captain America, the Sioux joining the pursuit to bring down the behemoth, General Castle, overseeing the scene, issues a chilling order. He commands one of his brain-dead soldiers to target Sioux.
Storm's the problem.
Aim for her shield. Spread her thin. Banner must get closer to the tower.
Pathetic, useless traitors.
As Hulk renders Captain weak and powerless, he urges the mutants to work together.
Cooperate, damn you! Work together! Help her! Help yourselves!
Finished like mutants. All vermin. All race traitors. Finished. Unworthy name human.
As Hulk grabs Sue by the neck, Redback comes to her rescue. Human, you don't know the meaning of the word. With so many lives at stake, Redback makes the decision to detonate the bomb.
Eagle 1, you got visuals. Did the blast reach the tower? Anyone, damn it! What the hell happened before detonation? Could've sworn I saw some sort of light.
Sue, she's gone. Sugar, the force-filled wall. It worked. She showed us the way, darling. You all did. We'll never forget you for that. Meanwhile, in the sewers of Manhattan, a group of mutants attempt to make a desperate escape. However, during their journey, they encounter none other than Stephen Strange, the government's top bounty hunter. I read on the internet he uses sorcery to track and kill mutants, and that no one has ever escaped him. As a fight breaks down between the mutants and Strange's army, Dazzler manages to escape the assault. There it is. The way out of Manhattan. Possibly the first time I've ever been happy to see New Jersey. However, before Dazzler could accomplish her goal, she's apprehended by Strange and loses consciousness. But as Dazzler regains herself, she finds herself in Fortress X, surrounded by the familiar faces of her friends, Gabriel and Angel. Upon looking around, she finds Strange conversing with Magneto and learns that Strange is actually a double agent. Miss Allison Blair, I am Magneto. Welcome to Fortress X. I believe you're already acquainted with Stephen Strange. I apologize for the deception and the cruelty, but I have a reputation to protect. After knowing the whole truth, Dazzler tries to convince Dr. Strange to find a safe harbor in Fortress X, but Strange rejects the proposition and tells her, with so many lives at stakes, no, death is dull, my dear. Everyone does it.